Well, good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ellithorpe, and I am here in Tustin, California, Southern California, and this is Ask the Doctor Anything. We do functional medicine. I've been doing this over 40 years, and then I grew up with my father in food research. So we have a tremendous amount of experience here between our providers in standard training as medical allopathic doctors, but we have a tremendous amount of training in the functional, integrative, alternative, complementary, whatever term you're using. We call it good medicine, where we try and let your body do what's best for healing itself. And only if necessary do we use the drugs or imaging or surgeries or other aggressive forms where we find that you're not able with your own body's healing to achieve the healing that you need. So, given that, what we do here is we take questions every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And you can send us emails. I think we have a couple of pages today of emails that we're going to go over. You can do that by getting on tlcdoctors.com and get on our newsletter. Then we'll send you a notification that we're going to do this on Tuesday night at 6. And then there's a link to the notification, tlcdoctors.com, tlcdoctors.com. And on the link, you can type in the question that you have. Keep it to the point and brief. And this is not meant to be medical advice over the YouTube or internet. We are just telling you our impressions, how we would react to a patient coming to us. This is not meant for personal management. You would have to see your doctor or come here and be a patient with one of our 4 providers we have here. Now, we also have the chat group. So if you're interested in chat, let me type something in there. Hello, I didn't do it today. You can type in the chat group and put a question there. If someone comes in live, I like to go to the live first, then I'll go to the emails. This is also typed up so that you can go to our website, tlcdoctors.com, and look at the transcripts of the questions. That way you can look through and see what question might interest you the most, so you don't have to go through the whole program. All right, so if this is of a blessing to you, please like and subscribe, and this will help share it with more family and friends, and hopefully make American healthy again, or healthier again. So we have our first email question from Mickey. Mickey says, I've been struggling with constipation. I was taking 2 reacted magnesium capsules. The title of it is Reacted Magnesium. When I saw a different doctor, she recommended magnesium citrate. The recommended dose is 1 magnesium citrate a day. I have been taking 1 of each to finish up the reacted magnesium. Can you help me understand the difference in the 2 and if the citrate dose can be increased? Essentially, magnesium citrate is what you get in a liquid form as the prep for doing your colonoscopy to make you flush out all your stool. Magnesium citrate is rapidly absorbed in the gut, and it's fast acting. So it is a very good stimulant for moving your bowels, but it can be too much. The other forms of magnesium are more slowly absorbed, magnesium malate, magnesium glycinate. And that's what reacted magnesium is. It's a mixture of malate, glycinate, citrate, so that it isn't overpowering in stimulating your bowels to start moving, peristalsis to get it going. Of course, you have to drink enough water, and you should be active, exercising. You should be in sync with the circadian rhythm. Get up in the morning with the sunrise, get some infrared in the morning, get your bare feet on the ground, get some grounding. These are all the things, but that's essentially the difference between the 2 types of magnesium you were told. One is citrate, one is the other glycinate, malate, or malate, glycinate, citrate. These are different types of amino acid chelates that are better absorbed than the chemical oxides. So if you link it with a amino acid, the citrate form is the fast acting, the others are slower, and reacted magnesium has all three in it. Magnesium citrate pure is much more powerful. How many can you use of magnesium citrate? It depends on you. You might need one and you'll be successful. Some people need several. So you'll have to explore and find out with yourself how much water you drink, how active you are, how healthy your lifestyle is. And then you can go and, cut back, take more, and try and see if that helps you. All right, what's the next question? The next is Terry, and Terry says, I have osteoporosis, 77-year-old. The endocrinologist had me do a 24-hour urine test, which showed high calcium content of 289 milligrams, which indicates it's being pulled from my bones. Is that also an indication of other possible serious health issues that should be tested further? What can I do besides taking calcium to stop it from being robbed from my bones? Basically, the best source of calcium is a high protein diet, like a carnivore diet. The best mineral content naturally linked to calcium minerals. The amino acids are linked to them in the meat, in the fish, in the chicken, in the pork, in the eggs. So if you want a high calcium diet, eat real food. Don't try and buy supplements. I never recommend calcium for bone loss. It, of course, is in any good multi-mineral supplement. It's in any good multivitamin, but I never use it as a source for treatment. What I use is telling you and my patients that you have to stomp. You have to hit the ground with your feet and make the earth shudder. And you should do that, a minute twice a day. So 2 minutes a day of stomping. Get a rubber hammer and hit something very hard and let that shudder goes up your arm. Your body needs to know, your bones need to know that they're being used and you're not delicately, gently using your body. The older we get, the more slow we walk, the more cautious we are. We aren't jumping up and down. We are too gentle. So you have to stomp. Get a rubber hammer. You have to hit something. Then I'm at for natural hormone replacement using estradiol, human bioidentical, natural progesterone, human bioidentical, vitamin D up to the level of like 80 to 100 range on your lab test, 80 to 120. Getting a chemistry to make sure your liver enzymes are fine as long as you don't have any serious kidney liver disease. And then using the vitamin K2 with it. Now, I have all kinds of 80-year-olds that are going into their 90s now with normal bone densities. And that's because they've been doing this stomping, doing weight resistance training. And I personally, I don't like OsteoStrong. I've had more patients now start to come in saying they went to OsteoStrong and they used their treatments, and they said the bone takes a week to kind of acclimate and be ready for the next treatment. I'm in my 70s, so maybe there's some science I didn't see yet on this, but I just cannot believe that, because we know that those who have done research since 1991 on human growth hormone and weight training on the elderly in senior centers on a regular basis, multiple times a week, had better height maintenance, bone densities, structure, mental cognitive abilities. So you have to exercise, use the machines in the gym, not free weights. Get out there or go to a place that I have seen and works very well. It's called The Perfect Workout. I would do it more than twice a week. I would do it 3 times a week. And then get a urine sample when you're on your hormones, progesterone, estradiol, you're on a workout resistance training, you're stomping, you're taking the vitamin D, K2, and getting your bone vitamin D levels up to 80 to 120, then do a urine sample and watch how much mineral you lose. It won't be as much. All right, Carolyn is a live question. She asks, an acquaintance had the pneumonia vaccine a few months ago. He woke up the next day paralyzed. He's been in the hospital since and has had a tracheotomy, a feeding tube, etc. How sad, Carolyn. I am not in favor of what they call vaccines. If you read the book Dissolving Illusions by Dr. Suzanne Humphreys, you'll see the reason why. If you go on the internet and you look up Dissolving Illusions graphs.com, you'll see graphs where it'll show that before the measles vaccine was available in 63, measles had already so declined down to the baseline of being not any concern. And it's an infection, it's limited, it isn't a high mortality causing scenario. Now, if you destroy children's food and you make them all diabetic and obese with fatty liver disease like we're doing right now, then these viruses can be more problematic. But in general, I have never seen anything that nutrition and basically your good plumbing, your good carpenter, electrician, sewage control, garbage sanitation pickup, these are the people you thank for your good health. And then your wonderful farmers who bring to you food, if they can keep it away from genetic modification and vaccinating their livestock and animals, or putting pesticide, herbicide, fungicide on it, or putting glyphosation into gene editing through it. So that is what you want to do. There you go. All right, the next question is John. John says, is a large percentage of hypothyroid caused by Hashimoto's? All right, Hashimoto is the name of the doctor, a scientist who found the autoantibody to the thyroid tissue. And the cause he could not declare, but he found the result was somehow your immune system was tricked into attacking your thyroid and making that attack irritated. And then a lot of free T3 was generated that makes you hyperthyroid with jitteriness, diarrhea, tremulous, racing heart rate. He called it Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Itis means inflammation, inflammation from the thyroid gland from an antibody attacking it. He didn't give any reason for the cause or prevention. And yes, with our lousy government medical rigged system, it has, through the government favored lobbyists and rigged food farming lobbyists, to put these genetically modified grains down our throat and sell it at every high school and military, hospital, old folks home. Everywhere you go, this grain, glyphosated pesticide is at, full of sugars, addicting it to us, harming our repair capacity and allowing the breach of our gastrointestinal system, getting leaky gut. We believe that's alarming our immune system, because 80% of it lines our immune system. And that alarm in general is so commonly attacking the thyroid, and it's one of the largest scenarios. Now, not every person that has that autoimmune attack will require being on thyroid support the rest of his life necessarily. A large portion do, because they never learn through good medicine, regenerative medicine, functional medicine, how to improve their gut lining and the biofilm of their gut and bacteria and rebuild their cell membranes. But those who do, and do early on, have the greatest hope of recovering function and not needing thyroid, but that's a small percentage. So I would say the largest percentage of low functioning thyroid is the end result of being diagnosed with autoimmune attack of the thyroid. Now, there are other causes of low thyroid functioning, and iodine deficiency used to just be in the Great Lakes region where there wasn't a lot in the soil, but they have removed iodine everywhere. And so we're all low in iodine and we're all under functioning, in my opinion. If you read Dr. David Brownstein's book, Iodine, he'll make the argument that it's about 96.7% of every patient he studied. And that would comport with what I have found on when I do a iodine level test on a 24-hour collection. I do not trust LabCorp or Quest, their testing methodology. Remember, they're just doing population averages. And so what they're calling acceptable, I don't call acceptable. So the 24-hour urine challenge, once you get iodine, if you take the iodine and you collect the urine 24 hours, you should see if you didn't need the iodine, it should pass right through you, and the large bulk of that iodine salt should just pee right through you in 24 hours. This is called a functional test. This is the best kind of laboratory testing. It's like getting a treadmill as a functional test of your heart performance under stress. So by challenging yourself with iodine or taking a chelation EDTA challenging test to see how much heavy metal is pulled out or see how much iodine goes through you, these are actual functional tests. And that will, if we don't find about 90% of that iodine salt load come out, then we're saying you held on to it because you were deficient and you needed it. So that's another cause of hypothyroid from iodine deficiency. Of course, there's others far more rare, but those are the main ones we deal with in general. James says, how do you treat eczema? What do you think causes it? Well, I just explained it for Hashimoto's thyroiditis. If your main attack, autoimmune attack, is not on the thyroid gland, it can go to your skin. And this abuse of the very delicate lining, one cell membrane thick from your mouth to your anus, is injured through all these glyphosated, genetically modified, chemicalized food, dyes, high fructose corn syrup, addicting lack of structural repair, eating enough proteins, phospholipids, and fats, then you're going to have holes in the lining of the tube of your gut, and all manner of material can pass into your body that can identify with your skin to try and get rid of it, because your skin is your largest organ, and create these eruptions. And so we teach, personally, anyone who has eczema in my practice, I ask them if they will please do at least 3 months of a pure carnivore grass-fed beef, wild-caught chicken, wild-caught fish, prairie-raised chicken, free-range pork, and then have them on just a carnivore diet. And then all this phospholipid that you're made of, protein and fat, it will start healing the lining of your gut, and the new skin layer growing up, pushing off the old flaky red skin. It takes about 3-4 months. So if you can do a carnivore diet 3-4 months, because we believe it's directly linked to the chronic destruction and sugar and coloring and dye and pesticide, herbicide, fungicide, bacterial imbalance, and their byproducts of inflaming us. Patty says, hi, Dr. E. I'm 78 years old, 5'7" tall, slim in stature, exercise, working on your recommended diet. In 2018, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, HER2 positive, score 3+, stage 0 to 1. Before the diagnosis, I was on bioidentical hormones for about 14 years. I believe I felt better taking the hormones. Am I a candidate for retaking bioidentical hormones again? That is something you and your oncologist and your primary care doctor need to discuss. there are many factors involved in hormone replacement therapy restoration, especially if you've already been diagnosed with this type of a very low grade breast cancer. I have many patients that I have put back on who have had breast cancer, and some of the most serious kinds of breast cancer. And they have done very, very well. Therefore, is it possible? The answer is yes. Would I recommend it? I usually do. And the reason is hormones, in my opinion, don't cause cancer. They are growth promoter, reconstruction, just like insulin in your body. Insulin will spike and go up every pizza crust, bread, cracker, rice, bean, banana, fruit, vegetable salad eating, cooked potato, French fry, nuts, and every plant food, starch, carbohydrate will spike your protein. I will, excuse me, spike your insulin up, and that will stimulate growth and fat growth and thickening of your blood vessels for heart disease and hypertension. Uh, why don't they point out that cancer cells have about 7 times increased receptors for insulin than does a normal healthy cell? Any cell, any cell, any cell. So you have to ask your oncologist or your primary care doctor why they don't teach you insulin receptor goes up on all tumor cells, no matter what type they've ever looked at so far, shows 7 times fold more insulin receptors. It's because the metabolism of a cancerous cell, it becomes extremely dependent on sugar and glutamine for its metabolism, carbohydrates, and it makes a lot of receptors so it can bring a lot in. So which would you be more concerned about, estradiol and progesterone, or would you be concerned about them teaching you that there's 7-fold increased production of insulin receptors? So until they get better educated on this, I think hormones help your bone growth. It helps your memory. It helps your mental focus. It helps your mood. It helps your sleep depth, so that when you're sleeping well, you get good repair. And it helps your cardiovascular system. It helps your immune system. So I think the answer is very clear. And I use them. And I have many breast cancer patients who are back on them. Uh, Linda, she says, what does it mean to have ridges and indents at the bottom of fingernails, I guess you're calling your nail and nail beds? Yes, I am, or am I deficient in a certain mineral? Well, there's lots of things. The same with your hair. Your hair thins with age because our ability to assimilate protein, absorb it, and digest it, and get it through the tiny capillaries into the follicle construction for your hair diminishes with age. We're in a marketing world that pimps carbs and sweet high fructose corn syrup addicting things, and full of sugar and not the protein. They have a campaign to make you stop eating beef and eggs and all these wonderful things that we're composed of that make up our protein. And your nails are basically a protein. So that if you have, let's say, a bad event, you had a car accident, a bad burn, you were hospitalized, seriously ill, very often you'll see horizontal lines, horizontal line downs through your nail beds as a divot. And that correlates with, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, you were in the hospital on life support and recovery from all this trauma, because all that protein needed to go to fix the muscles and the tissue and organs that were burned or injured in that terrible car burn or car injury, motor vehicle accident. And so the protein did not go to your fingers or to your hair. That's why when you're stressed or you're in great shock and cortisol, very often you shed your hair more. The same will be for your nails. There's many things that can be said. The vertical lines that go along the length of your fingers in your nail, these ridges, that's just very normal to see. It's nothing to be concerned about as a general rule. Um, You get less quality of nail production, just like you get less quality hair as you age. They get thinner and more brittle. You can see a lot of the if it's like a round club, it's called clubbing at the end, like it's a ball, it goes around like that. If your nail does that, that's clubbing, lack of oxygen. Scalloped or scoop spoon type nails imply iron deficiency. Little white dashes coming out of your nails imply, they say, I don't know if this has been as well established as zinc deficiencies, but you have to take care of yourself. And all of us with age, I don't care how good your digestive system is, usually O type blood has the highest digestive acid system. That's why they get the ulcers so easily, as a general rule. But eventually, when an O type blood gets to be 60, 65 years old, their digestion of a steak is not what it used to be. An A type person in their teens might have trouble digesting a steak or a hamburger and learn to avoid them simply because their doctor is uninformed to teach them, because they were driven by the political financial rigging of the medical training system to always think drugs, think surgeries, think imaging and hospitalization, rather than think nutrition and spend hours and hours on cell membrane and cell function physiology and nutrition. But go figure. So you better call your congressman, 202-224-3121. Call the switchboard at your White House Capitol, Washington, D.C. Capitol, and ask for whoever you want and to speak to them. Leave a message to tell them to follow the Constitution and get this rigging of the medical system, from the training in the medical schools to the science and the CDC and the HHS and the pharmaceuticals and the insurance companies, middlemen who make ridiculous dollars. Get it to an end and let it get back to free enterprise, and let the best man or best woman, healthcare scientist, physician, provider, stay functional. There you go. So live a healthy life, Linda. Kathy says, hi, Dr. E. A friend of mine, 70 years old, has increasing anxiety panic attacks over the recent past. What would be some physical causes, not emotional, spiritual, for this? Thank you. First of all, I'd find out their blood type. A type blood, as a general rule, doesn't digest as well. If they get digestive enzymes with betaine hydrochloric acid, then they do wonderfully. Even from childhood, they need this. It should be just like they check the thyroid, because underfunctioning thyroid can lead to retardation and is more and more. They should check for blood type in the children, in pediatrics. And all the A's should be started to find out how much digestive enzyme with betaine hydrochloric acid they need, so they can extract out of their foods what they need to grow on. And if A's don't get this, which the vast, vast, vast majority do not, then these poor dear souls go through life having trouble with eating. They get picky eaters. They have cravings. They sense something is not right. And physically, this can amplify with the years into anxiety, palpitations, because if you can't digest your fats and proteins well, usually they can most easily digest carbs. So they move to being a vegetarian or vegan, because amylase is so abundant and easy to chop up starch and sugars in the body from plants and fruits as well. So they become full of the sugars, but not the construction fat and protein. So their cell membranes don't get as well built. The defense lining of the cell membrane of the gut doesn't get well built, and they get all these soft signs of maldigestion, irritable bowel, these various things. So this can lead to, like, very just short of it, but severe B6, thiamine B1 deficiency can lead to dementia or psychiatric problems. It was classically dementia, diarrhea, and dermatitis because you can't reconstruct yourself very well. B vitamins are very important in all your metabolism. It's a cofactor along with minerals. It's like God's pots and pans with the stirring ladle spoon. You can consider the pots and pans your minerals, and the knife and the stirring spoon the B vitamins, B complex. And you've got to have it for every cell of your 40 trillion cells for about 2 billion plus reactions in each of those cells per second. So you need a good nutrition. And what do we know about the soil? The soil minerals are being depleted, maybe sevenfold since the 1940s, when we really started testing this. So there you go. So uh, will these anxiety panic attacks improve? I would get on a good methyl B complex. I would get on a good multi-mineral. Of course, we have wonderful ones here, TLC methyl B complex. Use the full dose. TLC methyl TLC multi-mineral has all the minerals. Eat a rich protein diet with healthy fats, your meats, your fish, your chicken, your eggs. Use digestive enzymes to help the digestion in case you're a blood type A. Find out if they're a blood type A. Exercise, do weight training. All these things help with anxiety and getting grounded in the morning, barefoot with the sunrise in the wet grass for 2 minutes. Getting that infrared light, get healthy light control in your house, stop watching the blue light late into the night with your computer. All these various things will greatly help. We have some more live questions. Let's see. Jay says, what are your thoughts on peptides? Yes, there are many, many marketing things coming out, sir. And I've been around this, and I've been involved in what is it? Keturah is a chemotherapy, immunotherapy, found very helpful in melanoma and certain cancers. And I was involved in the research and promoting these immune therapies, antibody therapies for cancer way back in the 90s, 40 years ago. So this isn't new to me. And then as amino acid science was developing in alternative, complementary environments and growth hormone repair and the need for proteins and better digestion to get your amino acids, this has been well studied. So we've been around it. And do you have to actually get it injected? Well, maybe if you're that diseased and far gone, you're going to need a doctor who has now followed the bandwagon, gone to a course, over the weekend, got certified to inject peptides in you that are made to help stimulate growth in the joint, the cartilage, or throughout your body. Stem cell therapy is way back from, who was the one? That wrote the book Stem Cell, Anyway, he was a functional medicine doctor that I hobnobbed with back in the 90s and early 2000s. I can't remember his name. Stein something. Anyway, he wrote one of the very first stem cell therapies on helping people with strokes and serious heart failure, joint diseases. Steinblock, I think is his name. Steinblock, yeah. I think he's in Southern California, San Clemente, somewhere like that. Anyway, it's been around. So when you ask Jay, what are my thoughts on peptides? I've been thinking about it for 40 years. And it's best to not develop the disease to need it. So I would recommend that you exercise weightlifting. That generates your own auto created amino acids. When you're like I did, you see me in the same clothes you see last week because this is my workout clothes for my heavy weightlifting on Tuesday. So I do that right before I come here. I do my heavy weightlifting, and that'll generate lots of little protein chain breakdowns, amino acids, and that'll create a stimulation for repair, which will promote growth hormones. If I don't eat now. If I eat now late at night, I'll shut it off. So I will not eat, but I'll drink plenty of water. I'll take maybe some extra vitamin C tonight. And that is my own self generated for free amino acid therapy peptides from my own workout that I do 3 times a week. There you go. So that's what I think of it. And so everybody wants to sell you a sleeping pill when I'm telling you to exercise, drink water, use natural magnesium, replace your natural hormones to get a good night's sleep, get yourself grounded, get some good infrared light, and get vitamin D. But no, let's sell you a pill. Let's sell you a peptide. So I'm as critical of the alternative complementary functional medicine for not having enough good family practice, general practice, internal medicine, pediatric practice, teaching healthy habits. So we don't need these things with time. So there you go. Christina says, hi, Dr. Rita. Is there any natural remedies that can be done to help with ascites? Ascites is when your body has too much fluid, particularly you're having liver disease, the abdomen fills up with fluid. It's like a waste receptacle, much like your bladder was for your kidneys when you go into organ failure like that. And she goes on to say, my dad's liver isn't doing well due to years of alcohol. He doesn't want to go to doctors. He has to get drained sometimes. Well, he needs to find a very good functional doctor, internal medicine that's going to work with him. But there are nutrients that are extremely valuable in helping him. I had a family member, an alcoholic, and we gave him alpha lipoic acid. Alpha lipoic acid, ALA, we have here. It is 500 milligrams. I would use, 1 3 times a day, or 2 twice a day, about 2 grams a day. Another thing that you might do is give him systemic enzymes to disinflame him. Don't have him eat anything after, let's say, 4 in the afternoon. And that's what I would tell if I'm not telling you what to do with him. What I'm saying is when I have people with liver cirrhosis, and my relative who had it, I asked her to not eat after 4 o'clock. I gave her alpha lipoic acid, and I gave her berberine as well. I do not give her St. John's herbs because there are medicines very often that it'll conflict with. So alpha lipoic acid and systemic enzymes, a high protein diet with digestive enzymes is what I gave her, and she was able to pull out of end stage liver failure with that. Now, of course, I gave her vitamin C. I gave her a small dose of vitamin D because it is fat soluble and it can become too high. But if you have a very good functional doctor and you can get labs done every 2 weeks and stuff, you can help them with that. But I would very easily get alpha lipoic acid and use a couple of natural capsules twice a day and be on an extremely low carbohydrate diet and use systemic enzymes 2 or 3 times a day on an empty stomach. That's the general direction. Let's see. Greatest Thy Faithfulness says, are you familiar with AIP and FODMAP diets? Yes. My 22-year-old daughter is unable to communicate her GI symptoms and has IgG sensitivities to Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Brewer's and Baker's yeast, and some probiotics. Would AIP and FODMAP diets be beneficial, or should I stick with foods only from sensitivity testing? Well, you have apparently a doctor that you're seeing, and you need to work with that doctor and ask the questions. In general, to anybody that has that much sensitivity, even to the cerevisiae, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, I would say to be a carnivore. Go on a carnivore diet for grass-fed, wild-caught, prairie-raised materials to get rid of all the world's chemicals and all the world's plant foods that have been sneaky treated with these things and possible vaccination contamination. Therefore, a carnivore diet is how I would approach anybody with a very sensitive gut, multiple food allergies. That's the direction I would go. But discuss it with her doctor. Lisa says, thanks for fighting the good fight. Great common sense advice. Well, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Written within us, if you go to Psalm 139, I think it's verse 16 or 17, it says about how written in the book, my members are made, saying that's DNA. Your DNA has all this information on how to repair things and do things. So I think if we would get out the marketing and learn to do some self control, maybe intermittent fasting, maybe a prolonged fast for 24, 48 hours, uh, just a water fast, depending on your personal history. Of course, an insulin dependent diabetic would have to be monitored by their doctor. But in general, if we can start moving our bodies more, doing the weightlifting in particular, and trying to work up to 6,000 steps a day, 10,000 maybe max, and weightlifting, intermittent fasting, stop eating by 4 or 5 in the afternoon. Maybe even if you're over 70, stop eating by 3 in the afternoon. uh, Eat a rich protein diet and take systemic enzymes, digestive enzymes. You'd be amazed how many things will improve, from psoriasis and dementia, memory loss, especially if you can find a functional doctor to do chelation therapy, high dose vitamin C therapy, blood pressure issues, skin issues, dermatitises, all these kind of things. The what you would call SIBO, all these things would improve. So thank you very much. Um, Now let's go back to these email questions here. Try and get through as many as I can. Um, Now Celeste says, I am 64. My husband is 68. We don't want to take the shingles vaccine. Neither will I, or any vaccine. Uh, Is L-lysine helpful for shingles? No, it has. Those are herpes simplex virus is what has been associated in the functional alternative natural environment. They say L-lysine has been associated with improving that. That's a totally different virus, herpes simplex virus, although it's in the varicella family. Uh, uh, Zoster is from the chicken pox that stays alive in your dorsal spine. That's what crawls out along one dermatome, one line of nerve out from your spine, and you get the one-sided rash, like in a curvilinear thing where that nerve track would go. So no, L-lysine has never been shown to be linked with helping it. Um, with all the other steps we do in strengthening the immune system against getting the shingles. Uh, the probably the number one thing is your lifestyle. If you eat enough protein, don't eat late, use a digestive enzyme with aging, get your feet grounded, get some of the electronegative ion balance in the morning through grounding, at the same time that you're getting infrared light with your water in your body. That heat is going to impact all the cells in the water lining your cell membranes, and it will help with your energy. Watch the video, Dr. Pollack, Pollack, The Electrical Structure of Water. Watch his video and be amazed at the hand of God using his sun, the infrared that is rich at sunrise up until maybe 9 a.m., and grounding, and how the water can flow continuously in a bath with a tube, like a biological blood vessel tube, and the water will start flowing if there's infrared light continuously. You want to get excited about energy? The energy potential of the battery effect of water at a membrane surface. That's why I keep on saying repair your membranes, eat protein and healthy fats. This can triple if you get outside and get some sunshine, especially the infrared in the morning. So that's the direction that you want to go. With that. And that's how you build up your immune system. Get your vitamin D checked at least once a year, if not every 6 months. And make sure your vitamin D is in that 80 range to maybe 100, 120. Make sure you're exercising regularly. Make sure you're well hydrated with half your poundage. So if you're 200 pounds, you want 100 ounces of water a day. Don't eat late at night. That cuts off your healing. Make sure you're on a good multi-mineral vitamin with plenty of zinc, selenium in it as well. Make sure you're taking a multi B complex, methylated B complex. Make sure you're eating low carb, rich protein diet, not late, and doing exercise. Get a good night's sleep. I would consider being on natural hormone replacement therapy, and then serve others and just enjoy life, and you can do a bunch of other little things. Take digestive enzymes, especially if you're getting older or your blood type A. Take them earlier in life. Take systemic enzymes to disinflame yourself, and take iodine because it's really low in the environment. There you go. Um, that's how I would prevent shingles, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get any shot of anything. They're felony companies. These companies that produce this have been found feloniously responsible for deaths, and they pay fines in the billions of dollars, and it just revolves and revolves around, and no one goes to jail for this. And why should they worry about the quality if they can just make enough money, which they do, and just pay things off for their errors in their product? So they're immune. They have indemnification from being prosecuted on the vaccine. So give me a break. Why would you take something from a producer that would not guarantee its work and be liable for being sued? If you buy a car and the brakes fail, you can sue them from unlawful death of your family member. You can't do that with a vaccine. Something's wrong with this picture, folks. Get on the phone, 202-224-3121, and let them know what you think of that, your own opinion. Then the next question is, hi, Dr. E, what are your thoughts on organic liquid humic and fulvic acid as daily supplements? Thank you. All right, well, humic and fulvic acid is in the earth, the soil. And as leaves and plants decay and trees and the bark decay, the microbes in the ground are always digesting and producing these products. Fulvic acid is a byproduct of humic acid. Humic acid is an aromatic, like it's got like 6 carbon rings, benzene rings, and it has carbon chains and hydroxyl groups on it and carboxyl groups on it. So it looks like a groups of these aromatic chains with these little strands on it. Fulvic acid would be a part of that. And it seems to be very, very important as a nutrient for the earth to grow up new vegetables and fruits and trees and all these kind of wonderful things. Now, as I mentioned earlier and tonight about the soil testing over the past 70, 80 years, we are 7-fold decrease in the mineral content. And fulvic and humic acid are very much associated with these mineral rich bioavailability support. So, let your kids play in the dirt, folks, and let your body get some garden going in your house, and put some healthy fertilizer in it. And there's your fulvic acid and fumic acid from it. Now, do you need to take it separately? We can market you anything. So look at focus on what matters. Drink enough water. Don't eat late. Low carb diet, rich in the grass-fed sources of your protein and healthy fats. Exercise regularly 3 times a week, weightlifting, and then get your steps in, your aerobic in. And then what else? You take vitamin D, probably take iodine, probably take a methylated B complex, take a multi-mineral chelated mineral product because the minerals are so depleted. And then get busy helping your neighbor and your friend and serving others. That's the way to live this life. And then, you know, come to peace with your Lord. Hopefully, you know your Lord. That's my worldview, anyway. Um, the next question is Krista. Hi, Dr. Rita. It seems like putting powder collagen in coffee tea for anti aging is all the rage these days. And I was wondering what you think of that. Also, would you recommend a brand? Thank you. No, I won't recommend a brand. I do carry a collagen here from Orthomolecular. It's the only company that I trust has any reasonable peer-reviewed science on it. Um, and when you look at the internet on fulvic or humic acid or other questions you might have about nitric oxide, you got to look for the peer-reviewed science. And then even the peer-reviewed science is questionable because we have such godless, business, money thirsty scientists controlled and bribed by bigger entities. So that's why I'm so strong in my Christian worldview to say you've got to know the godliness and the intent of the heart of the person who is you're hiring, your lawyer, your doctor. I think these things make a difference, and you should know it. Who's teaching your children, or teach your children yourself. We have to return to a sincere love of humanity, our brother, love our neighbor as ourselves. Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and body and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. These are the two laws and that embody all the law and the prophet. And so if you can't bring that up with your doctor or whoever is servicing you with personal care and advice, and that offends something, you say, I don't mean to offend you, but I'm going to work with someone who is not ashamed to declare their worldview to me. And I feel comfortable working within someone who I know they love their neighbor as themselves. That's how I feel about it anyway. That's my worldview. And I let my patients know it so that they can feel comfortable. Am I perfect? No. Do I sin? Yes. But am I forgiven? Yes. And I just am so trying every day to sin less and less in my life and do better. Even in my 70s, I'm trying to do better. The next question is regenerative medicine for autoimmune conditions. Does it work? Answer. In general, yes, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. It's written in our DNA. Yes, there's a lot you can do to repair and heal yourself from autoimmune injuries, from toxins and food corruption and stress and the electromagnetic issue and the chemtrail issue, all of these things. So the answer to that is yes. New and approved clinical trials, will they result in FDA approval? Well, if you call 202-224-3121 and get the Capitol switchboard and tell your congressman, your senator, the House Speaker, the leader of the Senate, and you get on these and you leave your opinion that you want money put into nutrition research again and get this pharmaceutical stranglehold of the teaching of doctors and allow the doctors to do pure medicine and get the government grants out of it. If something's worth doing it, I did my own study and got it financed on chelation therapy and rectal suppositories. The results were fantastic. Of course, the FDA kiboshed it and nearly financially destroyed me. But I'm a Christian. I get back up and I fight, you might say. So, yes, we can find ways to do good science and publish things. And you people have to put your effort and support around those good people and stay informed. If you don't stay informed, then the rats will rule the ship and take over. And so that's what happened. Now we got to clean the rats out. Um, so yes, we will get this. Hopefully, JFK Jr., the new Health and Human Services secretary said he wants to get EDTA chelation lifted up because, like this Saturday, I'm going to one of my patient's 100th birthday, 90-year-old birthday parties last month. Look at, they were all chelating. They were all on and are on chelating and on natural hormones and all trying to exercise and all trying to not eat late, all taking their digestive enzymes. And we're getting the oldest, healthiest, least Medicare dollar spending patient population in the United States of America. And that's no accident. So yes, you can have Robert F. Kennedy give me a call, 714-544-1521. Let's see. What's the next question? The next question is George. Greeting, Dr. E. My 76-year-old father-in-law, type 2 diabetic, high blood pressure, kidney cancer survivor from 2014, pretty active, 2 coffees a day, still a sharp mind, has aches and pains, drinks a majority of water after 3 p.m., wakes up 6 times to urinate, but drinks 18 ounces during the night. He has dry mouth. Creatinine level 1.7, loves bread. Suggestions? Bring him to a patient here. One of us 4 will try and straighten him out, is what I would say. He's got to get low carb. He's got to stop eating late, and that water messing up his sleep. Sleep is the only time you heal. And so it's not going to bode well for him. He just needs to do the things I've said, George, already, and just go through the clinic, the recording of this, and just, get your dad to a good functional doctor. Alexa says, hi, Dr. E. I'm a TLC patient. I am doing a 2-week carnivore diet to help with my small intestine bowel overgrowth. I'm having 2 to 3 watery diarrhea per day. I have heard this can be normal for some people and have decreased my fat intake to try and help. If you're a blood type A, you need digestive enzymes so that you are made of fat and protein. It's not taking away the fat, it's taking the digestive enzyme you need to help digest the fat so it can get intercalated into the structure of your body, and you need it. Find out what your blood type is. I don't know you by first name if you're a patient here. But if you're A, you need digestive enzyme. You need the phospholipids with the SBI Protect and probiotics. But I'm curious what you think. I am taking LMNT for electrolytes. Thank you. Alexis, just follow what I've said on the past reports here and see who your healthcare provider is. I don't know if it's me or who, but find out your blood type and work with them on that. Barbara, an integrative medicine doctor wrote that there is no advantage to the bones to take or use estradiol if it is 5 years or more past menopause because the estrogen receptors shut down. Is that true? No. I began using estradiol patch when I was more than 10 years past menopause, purely for helping strengthen the bones. Well, that's not true. He apparently doesn't know the truth. Look, I've been doing this 40 years plus. I have 80-year-olds and older with normal bone densities using hormone replacement therapy, stomping, weight resistant training, rich protein in their diet, digestive enzymes, vitamin D with K2, and their natural hormones. Holly says a urine toxic test revealed maximum cetrotoxin black mold. That's a family of the Stachybotrys black mold. After remediating, what is the best protocol for recovering and detoxing? Well, everything that I've said before, and I would probably do some ozone therapy, which is the oxygenation of the blood with ultraviolet light A, B, and C, auto infusion of your blood. We take like 50 cc's out. We put ozone, oxygenate it, then we let it pass right back into your bloodstream with the ultraviolet light to kill all these bazillion things off. And I would do probably 10 ozone treatments and then do all the other things I said before. High dose vitamin C drips are also very good. Catherine says, Dr. Ellithorpe, would you please offer a safe solution for deodorant that is safe and offers to help with perspiration? I don't mind the wet. That's natural. It's the odor we need to help with. Was happy with the product and all the natural ingredients, but is discontinued. It uses shea butter, baking soda, arrowroot. Any suggestion? Yeah, get the Argentine silver spray bottle. It's got the silver 23 parts per billion in it, and just squirt that under. It'll kill fungus, bacteria, viruses. Asia says, hi, Dr. E. My mom has a torn meniscus in her knee. It's been a few weeks and she is still waiting for her appointment to see the doctor. She's unable to walk without pain. Do you have any suggestions? Yes, adequate hydration, half her weight in pounds as water every day, and take the Vitalzyme or the systemic enzymes, or another name for it is Vascuzyme. Use 5 or 6 on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, and wait 2-3 hours before you eat, and then use it again before bedtime, 5 or 6 with plenty of water. That should help it. You could also use TLC Deflame. That's a turmeric research product, curcumin turmeric, and that should be a great help to her. Christine says, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I have AFib. I saw an AFib doctor last week. He said I am healthy enough where I do not need any medications. He did give me flecainide, 50 milligrams, and told me it would stop the AFib if it began. Flecainide is FLECAINIDE, 50 milligrams. That's a medicine for the conductivity of the heart. He said that one tablet after or within 30 minutes of AFib, and if it doesn't stop, take another. What do you think of this medicine? I've had patients on it before. I'm not worried about it. I would certainly recommend you see a functional doctor and look at EDTA calculation for the microcirculation, a low carb diet, and all the things I've said to do, and taking systemic enzyme that disinflame you, and a good multi-mineral. So do all those things, add in chelation therapy, and see a good functional doctor, and exercise, and you should have a healthy life. David says, can you speak to astaxanthin and if it actually lowers LDL and raises HDL? Also nanokinase for BP and longevity. Well, nanokinase is a anti-inflammatory proteolytic, and it will help prevent platelet aggregation, and is well associated with preventing clots and helping resolve clots. And so I'm very familiar with that. As far as the astaxanthin, astaxanthin, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, astaxanthin. If it lowers the LDL, I don't use it. I try and not use drugs. If I have a patient who I'm concerned about, they'll see the cardiologist, and they would be more familiar with that. I could certainly look it up and speak to it next week, but I'm never worried about LDL. I'm worried about your triglyceride level, that it should never exceed the HDL level. And we know exercise raises the HDL level. So that's what you need to do, in my humble opinion. But get a good functional doctor who understands the danger of insulin and high triglycerides and low HDL and the lack of exercise. And it's leading to inflammation from the high insulin resistance and carbohydrate tendencies, and thickening of the blood, and heart disease. That's far more valuable than any LDL article you'll ever see. Let's see. Hello, Dr. E. What do you know about nicotinic patches being used for better health? My friend's doctor recommended using them for lingering COVID. Is this something experimental? Thank you. Nicotine itself, we have nicotinic receptors all over our body, everywhere. And so nicotine is a natural occurring entity in the world, and it is associated with blocking ACE2 receptors that are very often a entry point for viruses and things like that. So yes, nicotine gum, nicotine patch, These all have good science behind them, and I support them. So I have gone 4 minutes over, and I need to wrap this up and get some rest today. I've been at work a long time, and we wish that you would like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. If you find value, share this, make it available. And I'll be here next week, Tuesday at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And let's see, the last one here, great is your faithfulness, says giving my daughter SBI protective phospholipid. Is long-term use beneficial? Yes, it is very much. All right, so I got it all done. Yay! All right, God bless all you and love one another. And thank you for attending. Good night.